See it as something, as a contribution to the sport.
Hi there, my name's James Sim, referee. James, I knew James really well. I've been refereeing 14 years and it was always nice to be always seen him at finals and things. We never always seen eye to eye. I do recall a few years ago when I done a league decider against East Houses I gave a penalty against Tynecastle near the end of the first half, and he soon let me know what he thought about that, which was quite humorous at the time. But after the game, there was no ill feelings. He came up, shook my hand, even though they were beating the league decider. But he was always nice to me. Every time I seen him, he was always up shaking my hand and things. And it was really nice to be appreciated by Mr. Lynch. Thanks.
I mentioned before that we had visited many countries, and Jimmy loved to travel with the teams. And we went to France, Spain, Holland, Italy, and then over to Canada. But one of the greatest trips we had was, I'll just put that back, was to Milan. We had to play, and this is why I remember it so well, because Jimmy was so involved in it. We had to play Inter Milan at under 16s in the final in the old Olympic Stadium in Milan, and the team was, we played exceptional that night, absolutely outstandingly exceptional, but we didn't win because we got beaten penalties. But there was a number of Scottish people there watching the game, other teams, other Scottish teams, English teams as well, but they couldn't actually come onto the pitch. There was a railing barrier right around the pitch, so they were sticking their hands through, and Jimmy was suddenly made a beeline for them at the end of the game, and he was giving them the high fives all the way along this number of people there. He was in his element doing this, and everybody else was just laughing at his enthusiasm, giving them high fives. But then the other side of Jimmy, 2 or 3 minutes later, when he was so protective of our people, when there was a little situation kicked off, as one does when you're playing against foreign teams, and the Italians became a bit naughty, and they were going to tackle our boys, and Jimmy was right in there. He was the one that was going to sort it out. He stopped it. He was having none of it. He was protecting his team, and that was the two sides of Jimmy in that case. On a funnier side though, going back to Milan, it was hard work looking after the kids, and we were here, there and everywhere, and that particular day we hadn't had much to eat, and we were desperate. We really had a big round table, sort of like a Indonesian, whatever they call it, I don't know what they call it, but it was a big round table that sort of went round and round, and we ordered the dishes, and the first dish came, and it was plonked down, not directly in front of Jimmy, but probably to the left of him, I think it was, just to the left of him. But Jimmy then moved the table so that the dish was directly in front of him, and proceeded to take at least 3/4 of it onto his plate. And all the other guys are sitting going, wait a minute, we're starving. Jim, what are you up to here? So when the other dishes came out, Jim's busy eating away, and we were all still waiting. The other dishes eventually all came out, and Jim of course wanted to get a bit more, but whenever it came to a full dish in front of him, somebody would move the table, so he kept going in front of him trying to get more food, and the table would move, and it went on for about 4 or 5 minutes, and eventually Jimmy just blew up and said, "What's happening here?" And he said, "Well, that's us getting our own back on you, Jimmy, for pinching our food." But it was so funny, he was trying to get this food and he couldn't get it. Every time he moved forward it just went round and round. It was one of the highlights of that. We were absolutely in stitches.
I'm Miller, Vice Chairman of Tynecastle Boys Club. I first came across Jimmy Lynch 23 years ago when I joined the Boys Club, and got to know him very well. He got me involved in the Scotland setup, which was a great rapport for 4 seasons. Jimmy was a die-in-the-wool hippie, but there was no doubt how much the Tynecastle strip and that meant to him. So he really appreciate his name being on it, even though it is Maroon. One of the funniest things I seen with Jimmy was the Scottish representative for the Eastern Scotland League, and at the end of the meeting the chairman introduced Jimmy as a Scottish representative to the East of Scotland for his report. And as Jimmy stood up, he actually said, I've got nothing to report. And 3/4 of an hour later, Jimmy was still on his feet. So that was Jimmy. Loved talking about football, loved being involved in football. Nothing was too good for the boys in the team. A very sad loss to the club and to East of Scotland football and Scottish football as well. We had many good laughs, many good debates, as Jimmy liked, and once or twice had a few journeys in his car, which was an experience in itself. Okay, Jimmy, we'll miss you very much, and good luck to the rest of your family.
So to the shirt that has been, or is now worn by the club members this season in recognition of Jimmy. I think it's a fine shirt. I think it's an absolutely unique way to connect with anybody that's serviced the club so well over the many years. So and every time I come in this room, I just glance at it, and it also reminds me of Jimmy and his contribution. But I think it's a great way that we're using this shirt to remember him by over the years. The older members, they all knew Jimmy, they all knew him. The new members do not, but they still ask. They say, who is this person? And we have pride in telling them about who he was. Well, we're back at the board table again, and this is where, as I said at the very outset of this piece, that